Help me to reach 2,000 subscribers. The divorce celebration. The phone buzzed just as I stepped out of the shower, steam curling around the mirror. I wrapped a towel around myself, grabbed my phone, and froze. It was his name, Ethan. After 15 years of marriage, 3 years of counseling, and 1 brutal court session yesterday, I thought I'd seen the last of him, at least emotionally. But there it was, right on my screen. A Facebook notification tagged with his name. When I opened it, my lungs forgot how to breathe. There he was, Ethan, standing in front of our favorite restaurant, champagne flutes raised high, his arm around her. The caption read, "New beginnings with the love of my life." She said yes, and the woman smiling beside him, wearing a diamond ring I recognized from his mother's jewelry box, was Clara, his secretary. The same woman I'd invited to our home countless times. The one who'd hugged me at office parties and whispered, "You're so lucky to have him." My towel slipped, my phone clattered to the floor, and my knees nearly buckled. He got engaged. One day after our divorce. For a long, breathless minute, I just stood there, water still dripping from my hair onto the tiles, the sound of my heartbeat thundering in my ears. It wasn't the betrayal that gutted me. It was the speed, the realization that he hadn't moved on. He'd already been there. He must have been seeing her all along. I sank onto the cold edge of the tub, my fingers trembling as I scrolled through the comments. His friends congratulated him. Colleagues from his firm wrote things like, "You two were meant to be." And finally, "It's official." Finally. That word punched harder than anything else. Finally meant they'd been waiting for this. I threw the phone across the bathroom, the crash echoing through the apartment. I pressed my hands against my face and let out a sound somewhere between a sob and a scream. How long? How long had I been the fool? Hosting dinners while he texted her under the table, comforting him when he came home, stressed from work, never noticing that his tie smelled faintly of her floral perfume. And suddenly, all the late nights, all the canceled date nights, all the distant kisses, it all aligned piece by ugly piece. I dressed mechanically as if on autopilot. Jeans, sweater, no makeup, just anger to wear as armor. I wasn't sure where I was going, but when I found myself pulling into the parking lot of Ethan's firm, I realized my subconscious had decided for me. The receptionist, someone new, recognized me instantly. "Oh, Mrs. Reynolds." Or, "Sorry, Ms. Reynolds now." Her tone was apologetic, but her eyes flickered toward the elevator. She knew. Everyone knew. "Is Ethan in?" I asked, keeping my voice even. She hesitated, fingers twitching on the keyboard. "He's, in a meeting. With Clara." Her face went pale. I'm not sure." "It's fine," I interrupted, walking past her toward the elevators. When the doors slid open on the 5th floor, I heard laughter before I saw them. Ethan's deep, smooth laugh, the one that used to melt me, and Clara's soft, lilting, the kind of laugh that leaned in too close. They were standing in the hallway near his office, her hand on his chest, his thumb brushing over her engagement ring. For a second, the world dimmed at the edges. Then his eyes met mine. "Julia," he said, surprise flashing across his face. "What are you doing here?" I looked at him, really looked. His shirt slightly untucked, that same confident smirk, the expensive watch I'd gifted him for our 10th anniversary still gleaming on his wrist. "I saw your post," I said quietly. "Congratulations." Clara shifted uncomfortably, her smile fading. Ethan exhaled. "Look, I was going to tell you." "When?" I cut in. "Before or after the wedding?" "Julia, come on. We're divorced." "You knew we weren't working." "Oh, so that's what you call it now?" "Not working." My voice trembled. "Is that what you told her while you were still sleeping in my bed?" Clara stepped back, guilt flashing in her eyes. "Julia, I never meant." "Don't." I held up a hand. "Don't pretend you didn't know. You called me sis at the office Christmas party." Ethan ran a hand through his hair, frustration edging into his voice. "It just happened. Okay? You and I were over long before I met her. Then why did you stay?" I snapped. "Why make me believe there was something left to fix?" His silence was the answer. I laughed bitterly. Because it made you feel better. Having me at home and her at work. You had your comfort and your excitement. Perfect balance. He flinched. For once, I saw guilt crack through his arrogance. I didn't want to hurt you, he murmured. You didn't want to lose me, I corrected. Big difference. The air thickened with the kind of tension that burns through any last hope of civility. I turned, stepping into the elevator before my tears could betray me. Back home, I sat on the couch surrounded by silence. The apartment felt emptier than ever, like the echoes of our marriage had finally died. I scrolled through old photos, not out of longing but curiosity, trying to pinpoint the exact moment he stopped loving me. Was it the night we lost the baby and I withdrew into grief? Was it when his promotion turned him into someone I no longer recognized? Or had it always been there? His quiet selfishness masked as ambition? Each photo was a lie in color, each smile rehearsed. But then I noticed something odd. In several of the pictures, company events, vacations, award nights, Clara was there. Always in the background, sometimes cropped out, sometimes just beyond my shoulder. She'd been haunting my marriage long before I knew her name. My phone buzzed again. A message from an unknown number. I'm sorry, Julia. I never wanted it to happen like this. Clara. I stared at her words until they blurred. Then I typed back before I could stop myself. You mean you didn't want to get caught this way? No reply, but something in me shifted. For the first time, I didn't cry. Instead, I opened my laptop, navigated to Ethan's post, and hit the share button. Then I wrote a single caption. Some celebrations start the day after the lies end. I hit post. Within minutes, likes and comments flooded in, friends, colleagues, even his own family. The truth, it seemed, traveled faster than guilt. And as I sat there, watching his perfect facade crack in real time, I felt the first quiet pulse of freedom. It wasn't revenge. It wasn't closure. It was something deeper, something like resurrection. Because in that moment, I realized Ethan hadn't celebrated love. He'd celebrated escape. But so had I. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel abandoned. I felt unchained.